Hello everyone, this is going to be a slightly different video because I'm just going to honestly share what I do here in Vietnam, how my life is like, and what a day in my life in Vung Tau city, Vietnam looks like. So first thing, I wake up without an alarm somewhere between 6 and 7 a.m. It's usually not consistent. I sleep with my daughter. She's 3 years old. She keeps moving around in the night. So we keep waking up. And I would say my sleep is not the best quality sleep right now. And it doesn't really matter. My wife sleeps in the other room with my son. He's almost 1 year old. And we need this kind of a setup so that both the babies can actually sleep. When I wake up, typically from the time that I wake up, if my daughter is still sleeping, I'll try to get a 30-minute workout in. I'll just walk around the house before I used to go down for a walk. Sometimes, if my wife is already awake and my son is already awake and she can take care of my daughter when she wakes up, then I'll go to the gym quickly and come back. All of this happens before 8 a.m. because 8 a.m. is the time I drop my daughter to school. Once I've dropped her to school, I have different options. Sometimes I work from home. This is my workstation right here, so I just work from home. Sometimes I go to a cafe and work. There are a lot of amazing cafes, which is one of the reasons why I love the culture here. And it's not just about coffee. It's just basically about going out and having a drink, maybe working online. It's a good scene in Vietnam. It starts early in the morning, so people are up at cafes at around 6 a.m. There are these local markets that sell fresh fruits and vegetables, a lot of different kinds of healthy snacks at times. And I would typically pick up something like a steamed sweet potato or a steamed corn or boiled peanuts, which my daughter really likes. So that's her snack before school. Once I drop her to school, then I'm basically free to work. And 8 a.m. to 12 noon is the time when I finish all my work. Yes, I work only 4 hours a day. And I think honestly that those 4 hours is a lot, given that there are many other things that matter to me in life. And I just want to focus on work in those 4 hours. So my productivity level and my focus in those 4 hours is super high. But at the same time, I don't spill over the work. So I don't work outside if it spills over. I will move it to the next day to the 8 a.m. to 12 slot. Now, this time I'm typically working from home. Sometimes I go to my own cafe. I have a small coffee shop. So I would go there. Sometimes I'll work there. It's a small place. It's a place that I've got to experiment with coffee, to experiment with different drinks. It helps me learn more because I'm also building a slow coffee brand. Now, I am a very hands-on father, so that's something that I make sure that I'm prioritizing in life. So 12 o'clock, I'm back home, I'm with my son, and then I would have lunch around 12:30. That's usually the first meal of the day. Sometimes if I'm super hungry, I'll have something small at around 10 a.m., but usually nothing before that. I'm not very strict about it, but I've been doing this sort of intermittent fasting for the past 5 years, and I'm actually enjoying it a lot. So this is something that I plan to continue to do for the foreseeable future. After lunch, I would again spend some time with my son until he sleeps. My wife is at work in the day, so we do have a babysitter who comes for a few hours in the day and a few hours in the afternoon. But it's not that easy to find like house help, domestic help babysitters in Vietnam as it would be in some of the other countries, and especially in India. So we are very hands-on in that sense. Like we both have to share the work at home, cooking, cleaning. It's a very balanced kind of approach. And I do appreciate that. I enjoy cooking a lot. I started cooking 8 years ago. And cooking is something that I really enjoy doing. It's a very mindful activity for me. And parenting is definitely like my favorite. I just feel very wired to take care of my children. So it's not something that I'm pushing myself or I have to push myself to do. It's just something that I really enjoy doing. I also read a lot about the Montessori method and different styles of parenting. And I do realize the importance of when children are from 0 to 5 years of age. This is the period when you have to be fully present as a parent. And you just have to be present. Actually, they don't need a lot from you. They need a lot of your time and energy. The traditional mindset was I would provide the resources and then keep my time and energy to continue to focus on providing resources, which makes sense. But I think in my case, I've achieved a certain level of wealth beyond which I think I don't want to over optimize on making money, right? So there's no upper limit to how much you can make. I always say that, but the consequence of that is also you might get stuck too much into making money. So I want to keep that maybe again for future. You can always make money. Once both my children are 5 years age, I might do a big project at that point of time. But for example, for this year, for the rest of 2025, I'm not taking any new client projects. I will only do what I can manage between 8 and 12, and that includes creating these videos for you and putting out content. So everything has to be managed between that 8 to 12 window, because after that, I have a full free calendar and bandwidth for my children. And now once all of that is done, I'm pretty tired by that point of time. So I take a power nap, typically from 2 to 2:30 p.m. So that's the window which is reserved as a napping window. In the nights when my daughter has not been able to sleep, which means that I have not been able to sleep, I might actually take a 90-minute full sleep session in that point of time. So like 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. I have this luxury to be able to do that because that's the time the babysitter also comes in, and my son is typically going to be sleeping at that point of time. So that's a 90-minute window that I really want to leverage for rest. Sometimes I'll get a massage in that time, which is also like a benefit of living here in Vietnam. The spa culture here is amazing. They have good services. They have a sauna, they have a steam room. You get the whole package, which is like a 90-minute package, and I'll be fresh after that. So between 4:30 and 5 is the window that I will pick my daughter up from school and we go for sunset. Sunset is a ritual that has been in my family even before I got married. When I met my wife, we met for sunset and we just had a few dates for sunset before we decided to get married. So sunset has been there in our life. Sometimes we go to the beach, sometimes we go to the park. One of the best things about this apartment is that we see the sunset from here. In the mornings, we go down to get the sun, but in the evenings, we have a beautiful sunset view here. Now, this apartment I had purchased 5 years ago, and I will show you around a little bit so that you can see how the views are. It's a 2-bedroom apartment. We have a bathroom here. So we may soon outgrow this to probably needing 2 bathrooms, but there's no queue in the bathrooms yet. So I think it's going to be fine for some more time, but we really love it here. I actually put in my heart into making the apartment the way I wanted it to be. So we are really happy here. It's basically designed for our needs. Slowly, of course, we kept upgrading it slightly, adding more storage and so forth as we have 2 children now. But yeah, for now, we are very happy here. Oftentimes, when my wife is at her work, we want to go out for lunch together. So we'll meet up for lunch. We are usually vegetarian, but sometimes we eat seafood. So we are typically a pescatarian household. We do not eat meat, but yeah, we do like seafood from time to time as a treat, but mostly I would say 80% of the time we are like vegetarian/vegan. There's a lot of vegan culture in Vietnam, which a lot of people may not know about. So there's a lot of vegan restaurants. They even have days in the month where they are going to be vegan. So people prefer to eat vegan on certain days in the month based on the moon cycles. In terms of whatever meals look like, we eat a lot of green vegetables. We eat a lot of vegetables in general, like vegetables make up for most of our meals. And then we have proteins, which could be vegan, vegetarian, or seafood, like I said. And then we have rice. So rice is the staple in terms of carbs. Rice and sweet potato are the 2 main sources of carbs. Potato is not used as much here as it is in India, which is kind of good. I like sweet potato a lot. So, and my daughter loves it too. The evenings after 8 p.m., I have a strict rule that I don't look at devices after 8 p.m. So no phones, no laptops after 8 p.m. There is actually no option to look at devices. But the reason why I make it so strict is because when I look at devices, I know my children will see that I look at devices and they will want to look at devices. So we don't want to get into that situation. We don't have a TV at home. We don't like to watch something passively. So that's something that I've always stayed away from. I do watch YouTube from time to time, but that's also in the windows when I'm alone. But evenings are typically just to relax, just to stay at home, be together. This is the time that we have all together, and then we start winding down. Sometimes we'll dance in the evening. My daughter loves to listen to Hindi songs. She cannot speak Hindi yet. She can speak English and Vietnamese. So I'm trying to get her to enjoy Hindi, at least from songs. So I'll play some Hindi music and she'll dance on that. And that's like a beautiful moment that we have in the evening. So overall, for a slow and simple life, this is at least what we prefer as a family. And it's not just me, but my wife as well. And of course, children, they will just absorb the environment. So if you live a simple life, your children start living a simple life. And then, of course, they are free to make a decision later on if they want to change the course of their life or their lifestyle. That's up to them. But you don't want to impose anything on them at the same time. You just want them to absorb the best of you. So I think for me, the best learning about parenting is that it's just a way of self-improvement. You just want to get better as a person if you want to get better as a parent. Now, a lot of my friends ask me that, why don't you move to the US? You have so many clients in the US. You have clients in the UK. Why don't you go to the UK? You have, people I've trained in my company have moved to Canada. I have my own company in Singapore. I have a team that is based in Dubai. And these are all the common places that you would say NRIs or high net worth Indians or, in general, Indians aspire to move to. So I made this move to come to a slow coastal town in Vietnam. And of course, it's not the first time I've made an offbeat decision. I'm known for making these offbeat decisions, but I have my own reasons to do that. It's not to rebel against people who are moving to all of these big places. I mean, sure, there's a lot of opportunities in those places. And honestly, the reasons that I live here are pretty much the same as reasons why people move to these places: for safety, for good quality of life. But on the other hand, I also have a decent cost of living. I also have a lot of friendly people. And I'm not saying that people are not friendly elsewhere. But when you look at a big city, like the mindset of people there is they're going there to hustle, they're going there to make money, they're going there to make it big. While Vietnam, especially in the small towns, they want to take it easy and they are very friendly. I would say if I had to move and I had freedom of location, I would probably move from India to Thailand or Vietnam or Malaysia, or even find some offbeat places within India which are away from the hustle. Like that's typically my style. I'm not saying, like I say in all my videos, this is not an advice. People should do their research and find out what's best for them. So in the night, we wind up, we have some good time together, then we kiss goodnight to my wife and son, and me and my daughter will go to our room. And then it's kind of a hustle to make her sleep. A lot of stories are needed, and she's very excited. So it takes time to calm her down and get her to sleep. And next day, it's the same story all over again, but we mix it up. Sometimes we'll go down to the park. Sometimes we'll go to the calisthenics park. Sometimes for sunset, we'll go to the beach. Sometimes for sunset, we'll go to the sandy park. There's a park where, kids can play with sand. And I also believe like letting children play in nature is probably the best thing for them right now. So I want to prioritize that. So as much as possible, we would go out during the sunrise and sunset time, especially. We don't want to be at home. So that's how typically my day looks like. And while we do have a routine, we try to keep a lot of spontaneous time. And this year, I'm not going very heavy on making money or closing deals or getting clients. So it's kind of a slow year for me, but let's see how it goes. I am super excited and I'm really enjoying this time of parenting because I don't want to have this regret later that I did not spend the fundamental development years with my children when they needed me the most. So that's all for this video. I do want to explore deeper. If you want to know more about the cost of living here, if you want to know more about why I chose this particular city, which is the Vung Tau city in South Vietnam. If you have any of those questions, drop them in the comments so I can make more videos about these topics. This was a topic that was asked by many in a poll that I had posted on my YouTube. So do subscribe to this channel so that you can participate in these polls and we can discuss more interesting topics. That's all for this one. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.